I made a video about Woolton Hall a couple of years ago, and at the end of the video I said that the original family were thinking of buying back the hall and renovating it back to its original condition. Well, that's never happened. Woolton Hall is still rotting away quite nicely. But last year I came across a story in the Liverpool Echo, and it's about a business which wanted to use the hall as a haunted hotel, and the story is dated June 2024. So I just wanted to look at what the details were about this story. Now, if you didn't watch the original video, I'm going to give you a brief history of the hall and go through what's actually happening at the moment. And I'm going to drive you around the sandstone walls of the walls that enclose Woolton Wood and Camp Hill, because my idea now is to document the 4 buildings that are inside these walls. 2 of them are still with us, one of them being Woolton Hall, and 2 have long gone, but quite interesting history, I think. So we're going to take a drive around the exterior walls, give or take, of Woolton Wood and Camp Hill. We're starting off from here, which is the entrance gate to Camp Hill, and going to set off down School Lane here. I'm going to try and return to the exact same spot that we started from, although I think that might be a bit of a tall order. Although there's not that many people around today because it's a little bit wet and windy. Right, so a little bit about Woolton Hall. Woolton Hall was built in 1704 for Richard Molyneux. He built the northern block of the hall. In 1772 it was sold to Nicholas Ashton, who was a former High Sheriff of Lancashire, and he employed an architect called Robert Adam to remodel and expand the building quite extensively. Now, there were quite a few owners until the building fell into the ownership of a family called the McGuffeys, and they were ship owners. They demolished the west wing and converted the remainder into a hydropathic hotel. And after living there for some 30 years, the hotel closed in 1912. I'm not sure how long the hall was empty after 1912, but it did spend a short spell as the headquarters of the Middlesex Regiment, and it acted as an army hospital. In the 1950s, the building was converted into a fee-paying girls' school under the management of the Convent of Notre Dame. In 1970, the small school merged with Notre Dame High School, which was located on Mount Pleasant, to form Notre Dame Woolton, which is now St Julie's Catholic High School, which is a separate building that's pretty new, that sits within the grounds of Woolton Wood. But at some point, might have been the 1970, Notre Dame decided that the hall wasn't big enough, and they built a building next to it, which is still there. It's a few stories high, and it sits right next to the hall. What's left of that is still there. Let's take the opportunity of stopping at these traffic lights to take a look at Woolton Hall. So first of all, we have an engraving from 1785, and this is Woolton Hall in its heyday. This photograph is taken when the hall was a school, Notre Dame, and probably taken in the 1950s. This is a photograph of Woolton Hall before the wing was demolished. So that's the wing on the left-hand side that was demolished when it became a hydro hotel. And this is what Woolton Hall looks like today. It's in a very, very sorry state. The white building behind it is the one I mentioned earlier. Notre Dame High School for Girls felt the hall was not big enough anymore, and they built that white structure behind as the main school. At that point, they actually abandoned Woolton Hall and used that building exclusively. The new building in the background is St Julie's High School, and this is what the view is from Woolton Wood. I think the present owner would like to turn Woolton Hall into a care home for the elderly, and there is a story that he applied for planning permission, and Liverpool City Council wanted him to do some things to the surrounding area that he couldn't afford to do, so it's sort of in limbo. And me personally, I would like to see it turned into something we can all enjoy, whether we have to pay for it to go into the grounds and see, but something that we could all enjoy rather than something that's just going to be behind closed doors. Anyway, let's take the opportunity of this second set of traffic lights to take a look at the story that was in the Echo last summer and what plans there were then. Right, so just to remind you, this was the story in the Liverpool Echo from the 17th of June 2024, and it's about these three guys who wanted to turn Woolton Hall into a paranormal mansion, a hotel type thing, and they have property in Chester which is apparently very successful, and they also have one in Pennsylvania where you can book to stay over in one of these properties. You could book to stay over in the one in Chester, and you ghost hunt all night and everything is recorded. They look at activity that was seen on the night and such like. So the idea was to take on Woolton Hall as a third property, and according to the story, they went in and they cleaned up some of the mess. Were going to install cameras and such like, and they approached Liverpool Council to get permission to turn it into a hotel so that people could stay overnight. And if they couldn't get the permission to turn it into a full-time hotel, then they would still have people coming to visit, but they would have to leave around about 2 or 3 a.m. And basically that's the story. Nothing has happened at all. They did say that they wanted to have this up and running for Halloween 2024, and that didn't happen. And I think they've actually pulled out. If you look at their website or their Facebook or their X account, they've taken on a property in Pendle Hill where the witch trials were, and that seems to be very successful. and they're also going to be on the TV. I'm not sure if it's Amazon Prime or Netflix, but they've got a TV show about what they do. There's no mention whatsoever about booking an evening or ghost hunting at Woolton Hall anymore. It seems to have fallen by the wayside. Now you can clearly see from this photograph that it says Haunted Mansion, Woolton Hall, and that's the three people who run the company underneath. The one in the middle is Harry Achilleos. I think it's Brett Jones to the left and Danny Moss to the right. And their business is called My Haunted. So if you want to have a look at their website or their Facebook or their X account, you can go and have a look yourself. Now, if I'm wrong and they do actually do this and it's just on hold, I'll come back and tell you where it's up to. But for now, as I say, it's no change, just rotting away. Now I suppose this is the continuation of Menlove Avenue, which is behind us, and Menlove is featured in quite a number of my recent videos, but this is Hillfoot Road, and on the left hand side we are looking at the end of or the back of Walton Wood and Camp Hill, and on the other side of the wall there are two very steep slopes, I guess you could call it a hill, and this is Hillfoot Road, the bottom of the hill. So this is the end of this video really, looking at Woolton Hall. Suppose it's an update from my first video about the property, but there's going to be two more videos about property in this enclosed area. One will be about two properties which are no longer here, and one will be about a property that still exists and is still in use. So we're back on School Lane and we're heading back to where we started this video. I'm really hoping that my parking space is still available, because it would be nice to finish the video exactly where we started. I find School Lane to be quite a picturesque area of Walton. Although it's sandstone walls on either side, it feels very tranquil to me. I do like being on School Lane. So on the right hand side is Doe Park, which is Woolton Golf Club, Woolton Golf Course, and that's the original area of the golf club. The first 9 holes, the other 9 being on the other side of Speak Road. Right, so we are coming up to where we started the video, and no one is parked in my space. So I can actually finish this video exactly where we started, at the gate entrance to Camp Hill. So I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch up soon.